and a lot many feelings. I don't know exactly the words for those combined to those. People hate Brenna because she's a black thing, or she's a black thing. The sales pitch was not done by me, it was my sister's. The girl is wearing this dress and all, the boy is wearing that, those hands thing. I have not mentioned that. So I have kept those imagination for the reader. Considering this way that the person who we are losing, they are going to a place where they are going to learn something different.
What is your biggest challenge in this entire journey of writing? Once the book finally came out, what was the most precious thing for you? Book. What was the craziest feedback that you got from anybody?
What kind of jealousy should be there? Oh God, I'm sitting on the wrong side of the table.
Oh God, seriously. The Next Show by Nagma. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Next Show by Nagma. And today with me, I have an author whose books really touched my heart. So in her book, the best part I liked was there are these amazing friendship, the relationship, like that soulmate level relationships we're talking about. It was just amazing. And today's episode is also very special. So you can see that the place that I'm sitting is completely different. So we are at a cafe called the Wafflesome in CP, Delhi. And it's such a cozy space and they have the best waffles. So we are sitting here today. And okay, coming back to my guest, I have with me the author of The Girl They Didn't See. You do have to check out that book. Welcome, Kavita, to the next show. How are you? What's going on? How's life? How busy are you? How exhausted are you? Because I know you're just back with a wedding in your family.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, I'm a bit busy because of the wedding part, but the wedding is over, so I'm a bit exhausted. That's it. But the book, yes, I'm excited. It's doing well at the moment.
Yeah.
But then, hope for the best.
So how has this journey been? Like, you've been a debut author. So how difficult was it for you? Because you've been writing it, but getting it out there, publishing the book, how was that journey like?
It was not difficult. I mean, if I'm saying it's not difficult, then that doesn't mean that I'm bragging about it. No, I'm not. I mean, it's like I met the right person at the right moment, kind of a situation. Like that. Because I met the Penguin team and we were in talks and it all happened in a month. I mean, not the writing part. Writing part I took around almost like 1.5 years, yes.
What was that? What was the 1.5 years like?
I wasn't supposed to write.
Okay.
I mean, I was
but coming
writing.
from an author is
No,
funny.
I wasn't supposed to write. I was writing. I was into writing for quite a long time. But then I don't know what exactly happened. I stopped writing it. Okay. And then, as I said, a year ago, 2 years ago actually, it was my sister and my husband who was after my life. They wanted me to write something, not the book, but something.
Okay.
Yeah, so my sister is the one, she's actually my secret keeper. So she knows all my stories. I am into making stories from past, 15, 17 years now.
Okay.
So she knows all my stories. So she was the one who was like, just write something and then we'll figure it out. So then, yes, I started from that time, that day, and then here it is.
Did your sister influence you in any of the characters that you build?
No.
Okay.
I mean, see, that's a different question and a difficult question to answer. Because she actually inspired me to write. But characters, no.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think I should plan a different podcast with your sister to actually get all the backside stories of everything. Yeah. But now that your book is out, you are officially an author. How has this journey been? How do you feel that now when you know that your book is available on Amazon, you're officially an author, people are reading your book. So how does that feel?
I mean, I really have to figure out the words for overwhelming and excitement, happiness, and a lot many feelings. I don't know exactly the words for those combined to those. Overwhelming is I never expected this, and
Okay.
this happened. And then by end of the day, I'm there at the book fair. The book is there, so that was a bit overwhelming. Excited, yes, of course. I have written this, and the book is there. People are reading it again. I'm excited. So yeah, it's combination of all those emotions and feelings. So that's what I'm feeling, and I really don't have an explanation for that particular emotion.
Interesting. So, what was the kind of the best feedback that that you received from somebody who you don't really know?
That's a really nice question. I was not at all expecting that.
Something, because your family and your friends telling, I mean,
Yeah,
they're always
I mean,
gonna
there's
tell good
this
things.
lady. I had no idea that she was reading it, and I didn't know her before. She read this book, and she said that usually, you know what happens? The two characters, Ria and Rena. Ria is a good girl, Rena is a bad one, right? So mostly people would say that I can relate with Ria. I can resonate with Ria.
Okay.
People hate Rena because she's a black thing, or she's a black or a bad
She's
word.
a great character in our story.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not even great. She's exactly the black. But then this lady, she said, Ria is me, and Rena is also me.
Oh. Two sides of the same personality.
Yeah, she said that Rena is something that we have those insecurities which we are afraid to show, and Ria is something that being a kind thing and we just love to show.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, technically, if you're looking at it in that way, all of us have that two sides. Okay. We got a dings mixed up, but cheers. So all of us have our all have a bright side as well as a dark side.
Yeah.
So when I read the book, to be very honest, this is something that I personally wanted to ask you also, because there are two girls who are twins, identical. No, nobody can understand, like just by looking at them. No, people are not able to recognize who is the person. Very easy to fool others, and they've been doing that as well. One person, Ria, is in the place of Rena, Rena's in the place of Ria. So all of that has been going on. This, while I was reading, I personally, like how this lady just spoke, I was just starting thinking about how each of us have a good side as well as a bad side. It can be as simple as, okay, I'm going for an event or I'm going for a party. I'm showing my best side possible. You get back home and done. Change. We're doing that. So is that something, I mean, was there something deeper when you created two characters who are so similar but so different? Or it just flew once you started writing the story?
No, it was not like that. It was like, I was actually working on the story.
Yeah.
I took my good 6 months on figure. I was starting to figure out, I was thinking to let's make it just a sister story.
Yeah.
But then later I decided that in a normal life, just a sisterhood is not something that is actually needed. It is what trust, that you really need someone where you can rely on, where no matter what, all you have to just all you want that particular person to be there with you. But Ria, in this particular case, she is the luckiest one.
Yeah.
That she have around 5 people around her.
Yeah.
Where she just have to look back or just have to, show her emotions, and people know that this is what her life is. So so it's not that all of a sudden thing. I actually worked I actually worked on this particular story for quite a long time.
Interesting. We should continue our game also. So while you were, I have a 6. So while you were creating the story, so like I said at the introduction also, the best part I liked in the book was that you did not just stick on to just making a love story or creating a love angle, which is what majority of the books today do. I mean, somehow or the other. And even yesterday I was listening to somebody's reel which talks about the marriage propaganda.
Got it.
So every Bollywood movie today somehow starts talking about, unless and until you get married, there's nothing going on in your life, and every goal in every relationship is only going towards it. Nothing against it, but a lot of other things get missed out in that entire propaganda building. So in your book, the way that you showcased the relationships, that pure deep friendships
I
where
know.
people are so unconditional and they are literally there. They have your back 120%. That was just amazing. Can you talk a little bit about each of those characters and their small relationships
I
with
would
each
love
other?
to. Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
So Ria has 4 friends.
Yeah.
Right. So the first one is David.
Yeah.
Then Ahmed.
Mm.
Then Zaid.
Mm.
And then Arjun.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
So Arjun is someone that she trusted. She started trusting him
Yeah.
from her childhood.
Yeah.
And then comes with David,
Mhm.
then Seth,
Yeah.
and then Ahmed.
Yeah.
Right? So let me keep this story aside.
Yeah.
Let me start with mine.
Yeah.
So I have friends in my life,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Mm.
But my friend circle actually started.
Okay.
It's okay.
Huh?
I have started. I have a friend who,
Yeah.
who was there
Yeah.
when I was in KG.
Ah, okay.
So he's now settled in Delhi
Mm.
with his beautiful wife,
Mm.
and he recently got married, I guess, 2 years ago.
Ah, acha, okay.
Yes. And then my other friend, my best friend,
Mm.
his name is Arun actually,
Mm.
and
He's the one who kidnapped you for a trip.
yes, exactly, he's the
Okay.
one. And then he's kind of my best friend.
Okay.
I mean, we have a kind of tendency that he don't have to tell me that he's not feeling well.
Mm.
I'll have that feeling and I'll call him. Same thing happens with me.
Okay. Okay.
He's in Dubai at the moment, not
Yeah.
married. We are just we're hunting for a girl.
Yeah.
For him.
Okay.
So, and then I have another one who is well settled in
Mm.
Kerala,
Mm.
living with his wife and his
Yeah.
beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
And then my sister.
Okay.
Okay. So these four things are my backbones.
Okay.
Now my life, I thought that my
Mm.
life is completed
Hmm.
with these 4 people.
Okay. Interesting. Huh?
But then my husband came.
Okay.
And that's when I realized now my life is completed.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's exactly what is happening in Ria's life. Again, to make it,
Okay.
make it fair,
Yeah.
it's not my life.
Yeah.
But that thing that Ria is finding those 4 people in her life as a pillar,
Yeah.
yes, that's exactly it.
Ah, interesting. Oh, so
So
then you
Zaid is the one like my sister,
okay.
who's like clinging to her like anything
In a good way, was
in a good way.
Yeah.
Arjun is one who's actually helping her
Mm.
to move her. I mean, kind of an emotional or secret keeper.
Yeah.
That's Arun for me in my
Yeah.
life.
Uh-huh.
Then comes with David.
Yeah.
David is like my friend Rohan.
Mm.
And then comes with Ahmed.
Mm.
That's my matured friend Abhishek. Then Vedant is there, who's been there in her life.
Okay.
I mean, who's in there in her life and just supporting her silently.
Mm.
That's what my husband. He don't talk much.
Yeah.
He don't talk at all actually.
Yeah.
But then yeah, he's there.
The husband also, he doesn't talk much. He just stops you from buying books.
He don't stops also. He just says ki now you don't need that book.
Okay,
Just
that is
do
very-
it. Do the Kindle thing.
That's very interesting. So
Yeah.
coming back to the very first question that I asked about your sister,
Hmm.
because in a lot of times the characters that an author somehow end up writing in the book is somewhere or the other inspired from the people that are there in and around the author
Hmm.
itself. They've seen these characters, they somehow came across these characters, lived with them, or know a lot of their traits, and they kind of find them into the book in some
Yeah.
way or the other. So then, okay, well, this is actually interesting. But why focus a lot, I mean, in a very good way,
Friendship.
give more importance to friendship and not the love angle in the book?
Is what me. I mean, love thing came to my life long after what actually thought of
Yeah.
being in love.
Yeah,
So that was entirely different for me. What I thought in throughout my childhood was I didn't actually had a definition for love.
Okay.
But for friendship, yes, I can give you hundreds and hundred definitions and explanations and
Okay.
briefing.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that it's not even, existed. The love part.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
So, and for me, even the day before my sister's marriage, we were
Yeah.
just discussing about the love part. So then she was bit, now I'm getting married. So do I have love in my marriage thing, that kind of a thing. No,
Yeah.
the era happens with the
Yeah.
brides.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I actually told her. Every person have their own love definition.
Mm.
I mean, for you, it could be like someone who's there to support you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For another person, it would be like someone who's there to make sure that yes, this is the presence that you really need in your life.
Yeah.
But for me, the love definition is entirely different.
Yeah.
For me, it's whatever the emotion that I'm going through with it, maybe sadness or maybe happiness. Specifically, the sadness thing or the gloomy thing. If I'm seeing my husband, I'm smiling at him. So that's what my love definition. Right. So even if I'm angry at him, even if I'm crying because of my PMS, but if he's there, I'm smiling. So that's what I actually realized that yes, I'm in love.
Oh, nice. That's really interesting. So while you were writing, did you tell these respective people that I'm creating characters based on? Did they identify after you wrote the book?
I don't think so. I don't
did they read the book?
So. Yeah, of course they did. They did.
Oh, yeah?
My sister, she read the book after she got the signed copy.
Okay. Oh, she wanted the signed copy from you. Okay, makes sense.
So she read that. And then my best friend, he's in Dubai. He took the Kindle thing.
Okay.
And he read that. My best friend, he bought the book, another one, the Rohan that I was talking about. He bought that book 2 days before that.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 days before my sister's wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other one, he bought the book the same day I launched my book.
Oh, that's interesting. So the book fair you were talking about, this was a World Book Fair, Delhi World Book Fair,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
How was your experience of? Did you visit the World Book Fair before, like as a normal customer? You're based in Delhi, so you obviously
it's a go-to thing for my sister and me.
Everybody. So how was it? Now, finally, when you're there, all these years, because you've been in Delhi for a really long while, you visited it as a normal person. And this time you were going in as an author where you could also interact with the readers. How did that entire 9 days go for you?
It was overwhelming. That's the reason that I said that it's overwhelming.
You need words for overwhelming.
Yeah, the tables have just changed.
Turned. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh God, now what's happening? Should I be here? I mean, the first thing I asked my team was, should I be here?
Yeah.
Then she was like, yes, of course you should be here. And then I was like, oh no, I shouldn't be. The feeling is entirely different.
Okay. Interesting. So when you interacted with the readers, I mean, they were random readers also, who are in generic readers but may not have read your book. What was your sales pitch to people? If somebody has to buy a book.
I'm not sure, should I tell you this or not?
You have to. Tell me.
The sales pitch was not done by me, it was my sister's.
Oh, okay. What did she say?
She started with that, see, my name is there in the book.
What's your sister's name?
Parvati.
Oh, okay.
The acknowledgement part. I have mentioned her name. So that's how she starts with.
Okay.
See, my name is there. Now you should read it.
Why? Why will I read? Because some random person.
And then I'll tell you one more story. It's not related to what you have actually asked. So I told people that she's the one who actually inspired me to write the book.
Yeah.
And then people start reading.
Yeah.
Then they suddenly realize they're two sisters and they're betraying each other. Right? And now my sister is saying, now you are contradicting me because I'm the one who actually inspired you the book. And now you're saying that I actually betrayed you. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And how did you solve that fight?
Oh, I had to take her for Pani Puris.
Oh, that's not a very expensive.
No, it's not. No, she's not an expensive one. But yes, she's an emotional one.
Oh, yeah. But then, how has this entire thing been like? Because you were telling me that you spent a lot of time trying to bring this book out. But then you've forever been writing, technically. More than half of your life, you've been writing something or the other. What does writing actually mean to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like bringing an emotion to the reader.
Okay.
Which, see, what I believe is, whoever is reading, they have their own understanding.
Of course.
For example, if you are doing an exercise, just close your eyes.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm asking you to imagine. Close it. And I'm asking...
I have to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm asking you to imagine a girl running across the land, shouting something. Right? And then just turn around and there's something she saw.
Okay.
And she's not happy what she saw.
Okay.
Now open your eyes.
Okay.
Now tell me what the girl was wearing. The dress. Tell me what you must have imagined
Pink
something. Right?
tracksuit.
Yeah, and I imagined that she was wearing sari.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now I told you that she was running across the land, right?
Okay.
She was smiling. She turned back
Yeah.
and telling what she saw that she was not happy with.
So she was running for me on a lakeside. So there's a lake and there's a running track. So she was running there. She turned back and she saw somebody else.
And she was not happy with it.
Mm.
And what I imagined was she wanted to have ice cream and the ice cream was not there. And she was not happy with it. So this is what writing for me.
Okay.
You have an imagination. I have my own imagination.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine what I am writing for. The emotions.
Yeah.
Right. So what a different thing that you might have noticed, or the one thing that you have noticed in my writing is I have not defined those things in the book. Like
true.
The girl is wearing this dress and
Yeah.
all, the boy is wearing that, those hands thing.
Yeah.
You know, I have not mentioned that. So I have kept those imagination for the reader. So that a kind of a flexibility.
Interesting.
Or
Now
a
you
freedom.
tell about it.
Yeah.
Because now that I'm recalling when I was reading, I think all the characters in the book, I have literally
You imagine.
created what they look
Exactly.
like, how they look like. Even the twins itself, how they dress up, how they carry themselves. I've put in my own
Yeah, I
random
didn't
stuff
give
into
given you
it.
any kind of imagination in the book. Another thing, a guy, he actually came to me and said, the
Okay.
Zed, he don't have enough height, right?
Okay.
So I said, yeah, it could be possible.
It could be possible. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what actually I have imagined Zed in my life, in the book, but I had never mentioned in the book.
Makes sense.
You know, he must have figured it out when I have mentioned that Zed was clinging onto Ria
Yeah.
on the hospital bed,
Yeah.
right? So that might be the possible that he was thinking, is it my chance?
Yeah, it's your chance.
So,
Interesting.
I'm such an idiot.
Okay, interesting. That was about the game or
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, this makes proper sense to me now because when I was reading the book, I mean, see, as a reader, when I'm reading, I always try to think of it in two ways. One, how am I enjoying the book? It's as simple as that. I should get entertained. I'm not reading book just to learn something out of it, but I should get entertained, which it did. But then I also have this bad habit trying to figure out what is the author thinking when the author created something like this. This is something I think just being in the industry, it just happens. But in this, honestly, I did not figure anything. I have no clue what you were thinking of while you were writing that book.
Yeah, because I'm not given the example. Because usually when you read the book,
Huh.
that's how the author starts. Right?
Yeah.
This how the girl looks.
Yeah.
And then this how the boy looks.
Yeah.
And girls is so beautiful.
Huh.
The boy is not good looking, kind of thing. Kind of an imagination, not briefing. Right? I have not given that. I've never mentioned that in the book. So that's something that I wanted to give a flexibility for the reader.
Yeah. Was there anything in your book that you feel that this was the most visual scene in the book?
There are 2-3 portions
Yeah.
were actually very close to me.
Yeah.
It was the first thing when those 4 people were tracking Ria
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
when she was going to meet
Yeah.
Vedant.
Yeah.
So that something happened with me.
Interesting.
Yeah. But not all 4, but my sister and my friend Arun, they were tracking me. That happened with me.
Interesting.
I was going to office, not going to meet my boyfriend, but I was going to office, but then
Okay.
they wanted to track me and they did.
Okay.
So that something happened. And then something when during her marriage, after the marriage, when all 4 decided that they are going to be there for her honeymoon.
Yeah.
Something, if you remember.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
happened with me. Not for the honeymoon part, but after my first anniversary. For my first anniversary. It was my sister and my best friend was there. They were there.
Oh
So
God.
the
Glee
Vedant-
people.
Yeah, so when Vedant said that they are going to be there for another anniversaries and all, so
Yeah.
that actually happened with me.
Oh.
Yeah.
So all your anniversaries, you know that there are +1s, +2s.
Always. It's always been. It's always
Oh,
been
that's
like
actually
that.
so sweet as well.
It's sweet, but crazy also, but yeah.
Well, you need relationships like that in your life.
Yes, you need relationships, I won't say. I mean, I don't think so. Relationships are the right word. I think you need that presence in your life.
You need your people.
Yeah, you need that presence in your life where all you just have to do is just look back.
Yeah.
And then let it be. Whatever is happening, let it be. I'm being supported.
That's a good feeling to have also, to be very frank.
Yeah.
Are you writing something now?
I am.
Anything you can share?
I actually wanted to write a proper love story where anyone could not figure out what exactly is going to happen.
Okay.
So that's something I'm trying to write.
Okay.
But it's the love story, so X, Y, Z, whatever happened, anyone will figure it out.
Like there are two people, they're teenagers, they fell in love, they went there, and later somebody died of cancer.
Yeah, so dying of cancer is not my thing.
Okay.
But yeah, something that I'm trying to write. I actually wanted to figure out a philosophical thing.
Okay.
Something that we are writing letters to death. Yeah.
Okay, things just turned dark suddenly. Oh yeah, what do you mean?
So there's someone I actually lost in my family.
Okay.
He was not very close to me, but he was there. I knew he was there. His presence was there. And then I lost him. I lost that presence actually. So it hit me hard. It shouldn't have, but it hit me hard. And then I had this whole discussion with my dad. So then those discussions turned into a chapter. Yeah. So that's something I'm just figuring. I have finished it, but I'm not sure whether I'll publish it or not.
So you finished the full book?
I finished the full book, yes.
Okay. Are you into sharing your manuscript to somebody to just read it?
You want to have
I want to have a read. Now I'm curious just to know. Because see, I liked how you write the book because it was extremely fast paced. There was no two big paragraphs where somebody is slowing down somebody. It's one after the other. The things are moving on, and every emotion that needs to be there, it's been there. So you did not lose out on the emotions, but then you didn't waste time of yours as well as the readers just randomly explaining unwanted things. And so I really liked that because sometimes when you're so busy and you want to read a book, but you do not want to waste. Yes, when I'm in a mood for a good literary fiction, I want books like that. So sometimes you're just not in mood for that and you're looking out for fast-paced books. And that's when I ended up reading this and I was like, bang on, I wanted that. So I was pretty impressed with the way that you write. So yes, I'm curious. So that's what
I'll give you a gist. Okay. Do you have any imagination for death? I'm not talking about the crying part.
Okay.
Everyone, we all have, imagined death in our life, right? So what do you think or what do you see death as?
I think I've always been influenced since the time I've read this book. I don't know if you know the book. There's this book called Many Life, Many Masters.
I know.
Which talks about past life regression and whatever. So there is that explanation given in that book where you actually see the white light, so-called. So somehow, and also I'm a huge fan of Grey's Anatomy. And Grey's Anatomy has had multiple death scenes in it, which has a white light and people are going towards it. So for me, death is, I'm dead. So I'm in a different parallel universe. I can see the people who were dearest to me, but who's not in the world anymore. And I have my conversations and okay, maybe if I'm still struggling or maybe I had an accident or whatever, I'm still struggling to decide whether should I actually go through the white light or come back. So this is always where I get stuck. So I don't know if I want to go through that life or when I actually want to come back.
Okay. So can I take 2 cards?
Yeah. Okay. Are you doing some tarot card reading now?
I'm not. Just have cards. What would I do?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just moving your this to this one.
Moving to a better place. Okay.
Yeah. So now we have 2 cards here.
Yes.
Consider them as 2 gates. 2 gates for 2 different planets. So one planet is this one, the blue one, where you're living. So another planet where you have no idea about.
Rocky's planet.
Yeah. Okay. So now, since you're living in this planet, I'm pretty sure you have no idea people who are living in this planet. So of course, you're not gonna, you don't have any idea how they're living, what they're eating, how they're surviving. Right? All of a sudden, this gate opens, right? So when this gate opens, how can you say that the white light is going to be there?
That's how I imagined
Yeah,
it.
that's how you imagine,
Yeah.
right? So there are chances that you're going to a different place with n number of possibilities. What I understand is life is something where it teaches you to learn something.
Okay.
And death is something where it teaches you to unlearn something. Life is full of opportunities. Very pretty sure that yes, if I'm happy at the moment, after a while I'm going to be sad.
Okay.
Kind of a thing that we have, or we have been known about that, right? Death is full of uncertainties.
Okay.
You have no idea what is going to be there.
Not at all.
We hate death because from the perspective of, who are living, they think that we are losing our close ones.
Could be.
Consider in this way that the person who we are losing, they are going to a place where they are going to learn something different.
Yeah.
Right? So when they are going to learn something different, they have no idea about us.
Yeah.
Then why we are crying for them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's a selfish point what I just said. But just consider in this way that if this person was living here at the moment, all of a sudden got an opportunity to live here. Right? So you should be happy for that person or not?
I believe we should. Oh yeah. Topic changed. Okay, this became different. So this is the conversation that you had with your dad.
Yeah, we had many conversations, and then I figured it out something, and then I have drawn something. I have written something. Yeah, so it's kind of a conversation that I'm having with death.
Okay.
And yes, death is also writing some letters to me.
Yeah.
Telling me that what exactly the living people have figured it out. That's not what it is. It's entirely different.
Oh, yeah, publishers, if any of the publishers are watching this episode, this was a manuscript publishing pitch. So you better pick up the manuscript. Okay, now I'm actually extremely curious. But that's interesting. Okay, those are two different things. The way that I've imagined. Because that's
the reason I said I'm still not thinking whether I should go for the publishing.
You should actually. Having different types of books out there is also good. Like it's your versatility that is actually coming out, right? You should definitely. But I'm definitely curious. Interesting. So how do you like as a journey when you are in your own world or getting inspired from your sister and others and you're creating that book, that's a journey which is like you are trying to figure that out, right? But once your book is out, then it's not yours anymore. There's so many people involved, there's so many things going on, you need to be out there, you need to involve a lot of people. How do you manage the differences? Because as far as I understand, yes, you have your close people who you do anything for, but then also you like to be in your own thoughts also a lot.
Always.
So how do you manage these two phases of a writer?
With the support actually, with my family's support.
Yeah.
So my husband knows when I'm in my own life or in my own world. He don't disturb me. Same goes with my sister also.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bad habit of hers is even if she knows that I'm in a situation of writing or something and she needs her, I don't care. Just be here. So yeah. So that's a different thing. But if you have a proper support in your life, then you can do whatever that you want to.
That's actually sweet.
You really need to have that. And I was a person who was actually never believed in it. I never believed it. I thought that if you want to do it, just go and do it. But that does not happen. If your partner is not there to support you enough, you'll not be able to do anything. You will be just stuck.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So you've coming to your profession, you've always been in marketing, branding, content, and all these spaces, right? Did it somehow help in visualizing things better, getting things out there, or writing journey in general?
Yeah, it does. When you're talking to the publisher, you're just telling them your idea of the book, that this is how it should be and this is how it should not be.
Yeah.
This is how we should pitch, or this is how we should not.
Yeah.
Basically, how we should not do. How good they could do, that's their profession. It's not me who's gonna tell them, right?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But what or exactly that I don't want, those things I actually make them clear about it.
That's good. I really wish every authors actually did that. What is your biggest challenge in this entire journey of writing? Where you got stuck, things do not work out. It could be anything, but what was
But it's not about the things not working out. It's like basically when I was working with my editor, like when I was writing, when I have written the draft and when I'm sending it to them. So there are a few questions that they come up with. Why you have mentioned that Ria is not happy at the moment? Why do you mention that? Okay, so there's this line where Zaid notices that Vedant has moved Ria's glass when she was about to drink. Right? So I haven't mentioned that part. I just mentioned that Zaid noticed that Vedant has moved the glass. And that's when Zaid felt that, okay, now Ria is going to save with, I mean, she's going to be safe with Vedant. So that question from my editor was, you should mention that because reader might not be able to imagine. So then my thing was reader should be able to imagine it because it was kind of imagination that I'm writing there. So we had a kind of a discussion, not argument. It was a discussion. But then I ended up writing the whole scene there.
Interesting. So this is a common question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how much you'll be able to sell because you currently have as one book. But writers have their own perspectives or their ideas, and you can get possessive with your writing, your characters, your scenes, your situations, everything. And when you're working with an editor, there could be scenarios where you need to change things because maybe looking at a mass audience perspective, because ultimately we all want to sell the book, right? There could be scenarios where it should be changed, or the suggestion coming to you is that, no, this is not really hitting at the right spot. You kind of need to work it around. Do writers in general get like possessive, and how do you do those changes?
I don't think so. I'm the right writer to answer that question.
That's why I said because it's just one book.
It's just my first book, so I don't think so that I'm the right person. But no, I haven't get stuck with that because I have written only 2 drafts.
Okay.
Yeah, and my writing was pretty clear that this is what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have any issues, come back to me with the questions. That's okay. But this is what I want. And I'm very specific about that. I've always been like that. So,
interesting. Once the book finally came out, what was the most precious thing for you?
Book.
In general, from a feeling, for a situation, from somebody's feedback, or seeing the physical copy, or whatever it could be.
I genuinely wanted a feedback from my sister.
Okay.
And I got that feedback after 25 days. And those 25 days were like,
torture.
Literally a torture. Because my sister, she's a perfectionist. Okay. That even if this card is like that, she'll put it in a right way. And I wanted her to read the book and come back to me and say that this is what I didn't like in your book. And I was not getting that. I was after her life. Just read it. Then she said that I'll read it only after I'm getting my signed book. And she got the copy and she read it. And that idiot didn't tell me that she has finished the book.
Okay.
And she was supposed to go to Kerala and then came back. And she was all smiley kind of a thing. And then I asked, have you read the book? And she said, yeah, I did. And I said, give me the feedback. She said, I'm fine with that. And that's the only question that she asked me, that I'm the one who actually inspired you, the one I just told you, And then you have mentioned that there's a betrayal is there. I never betrayed you. So that's the only thing that I got.
She never gave any of the feedback.
I mean, that means that she loved it.
Okay. Oh God, tough crowd.
That means she loved it, but then she didn't give me the brutal thing that I was actually wanted. Yeah. But somewhere my mom said that she really loved it and she read your book thrice. Yeah.
Not bad. Okay. Interesting. What was the craziest feedback that you got from anybody?
Craziest,
something like came so out of the blue and you're like, really?
Yeah, that twins will not do like that. The imagination that I have is wrong. The betrayal part, that will never happen.
I'm speechless. I don't know. Okay. I mean, why will twins not do that? I mean, reality in the life is so weird.
From that person's perspective, it could be right also. See, imagine in this way, like 2 girls who are actually loaded with money. The one who can have anything in the life, and the other one is, again, she's loaded with money, she has her own talent. So why would they interfere in the life? Even if they want a boy, they can have a number of boys. Why would they fight?
Yeah, but jealousy is a very strong.
What type of
feeling.
jealousy should be there?
I
Oh
don't
God, I'm sitting on the wrong side of the table.
Oh God, seriously. Oh, I'm busy drinking my coffee. I don't want to answer these questions because I
No,
have a sister.
I mean, just
and my
imagine,
sister
you know.
has twins.
Yeah, I mean, they are loaded with money. They
Mhm.
have talent. The one who is actually dad's favorite, she
Mhm.
has the whole business of her dad's.
Yeah.
The other one, she's loaded with the friendship, with
Yeah.
n number of things.
Yeah.
Why would they even fight for a boy?
Why wouldn't they? Because even when
See,
you're
the
looking
book,
at it,
the story is not about the fight
Yeah.
between for a boy.
yeah,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah, I mean, they both didn't like love
Yeah.
the boy. I mean,
Yeah.
Ria had that feeling
Mhm.
later on, very later on.
True.
But the actual fight was for the acceptance from the dad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if they would have thought in a way that
Mm.
we don't want that kind of acceptance,
Yeah.
then there will be no kind of
Yeah, but they in
Fine.
this book the characters thought in that way, right? Ultimately, they wanted it.
so
I
that's
mean,
my
if-
perspective.
Yeah. So if the people in a parallel universe, two other Riyas and Rainas, if they did not have that issue, I don't think they didn't have to fight.
Yeah,
But-
because see, me and my sister, we never had
Yeah.
kind of a jealousy.
Yeah.
The only jealousy that my sister had is, or still have is, she thinks I'm not in the category of being shared things. She cannot share me. Yeah.
Thank you, Kavita. Thank you so much for the lovely conversation today. I wanted, because we are sitting in a cafe and we are like having this conversation over playing Ludo and having coffee. I wanted it to be casual, but then it really ended up becoming a very good heartfelt conversation. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for inviting me up.
Thank you so much. The next show by Nagma